last week's lesson. This is a feature that we started last week, Ben, where I basically go through my weekly email lesson with you to let you know or to see what you think of it. But the headline of last week's email newsletter is Logic Games is a test of reading comprehension. Do you have any reaction to that message right off the bat?
No, I actually agree with this 100%. I know I had some hesitations about your last week's lesson, but I was just talking in class last night about how the fundamental skill tested throughout the LSAT. I mean, everybody thinks that each section is so different, but when you dig down into its core, they're basically giving you written rules, just in different formats, asking you to read those rules and understand them and then derive things that must be true from them. That's
Yep.
it.
So what I have here is a little example. If you would like to read this whole lesson, you can go to thinkinglsat.com /demon and you can subscribe to our newsletter. Every Thursday, we've been sending out this this weekly email newsletter. It's a lesson basically in your email box every week. Again, that's thinkinglsat.com /demon if you want to sign up. But I thought I had a brain teaser at the top of the thing, and it's just an example of how what they're really testing is reading comprehension. So why don't you read the first of, I've got two rules and I want you to like compare and contrast the two. So go ahead, take it away.
Sure. So the first rule, so you want me to skip this main point part, right? And then just jump into
Yeah,
these two rules.
read the
Yeah.
two
Okay.
rules.
So rule number one says if the red clown gets out of the clown car before the blue clown, okay. So we have a bunch of clowns getting out of a car, and if the red one gets out before the blue one, which one of the following must be true? Okay. So what has to follow if that's the case?
How would you answer
Next,
that question? I mean, what would you do on a question that said, if the red clown gets out of the clown car before the blue clown, which one of the following must be true?
well,
What are you thinking there?
yeah. So the very first thing I would do is I would, um, well, if I'd created worlds, which may not be the case in this kind of question. It depends if it was purely like relational rules in the original setup. But anyways,
Yep.
I would look at my setup, whatever that is, and I would determine what must happen if the red clown got out of the car before the blue clown. And sometimes that would lead you to some obvious must be true idea that is that lead you right to the answer. Sometimes there are several things that must be true and you're just going through the answers looking for the one they decided to give you. But yeah, I am definitely predicting what must happen given this if clause.
Okay, great. So if you had made worlds, you go look at your worlds where the red clown is out before the blue clown. If you hadn't made worlds, then you're probably going to make a new diagram. You're going to consider, okay, how does this impact the game when the red clown gets out of the blue clown? Then what happens? And you might have to make a new diagram if you had not made worlds. How about this next rule? You want to read the
Okay.
whole thing first?
Yeah. Unless the red clown gets out of the car after the blue clown. Oh, sorry, out of the clown car after the blue clown. Okay. So unless this is actually saying the same thing. The first one said if the red clown gets out of the car before the blue clown, and this one's saying unless the red clown gets out after the blue clown. In other words, if it gets out before, because there's no other option, there's no middle ground, right? This sounds like just a regular ordering
Yeah, it's
game.
they're getting out in a one sequence, right? It's either got
Yeah,
to be before
exactly.
or after.
Yep.
Okay.
So since this is saying unless it gets out after, in other words, if it gets out before, each of the following could be false, except, okay, each of the following could be false. That means the four wrong answers are things that don't necessarily have to be true. And you're looking for the exception. You're looking for the thing that must be true. So you've just written the same question twice.
Yes. And I asked people, which of these questions is harder and why? And many people thought the first question was easy and the second question was, if not impossible. Some of them were just like, well, the first one I got, but the second one I have no idea.
Yep. So yeah, they're struggling to translate what the unless clause is saying and what the could be false except clause is saying. You
Yeah.
threw both of them at them. Yeah. So
Yeah, well,
Merry
I was
Christmas.
trying to make a point, which is logic games is a test of reading comprehension. When they say, unless the red clown gets out of the clown car after the blue clown, unless means if not. So if the red clown doesn't get out after the blue clown, well, they're going to only get out in one order. So if it's not getting out after the blue clown, then it has to be getting out before the blue clown. Oh, wait a second. So now the first half of that sentence is exactly the same. The first half of that question is exactly the same. And then the remainder of it, each of the following could be false, except, yeah, Ben, you just said, okay, so that means there's 4 that could be false, which means there's 1 that must be true. Oh, so what you're saying is if the red clown gets out after, before the blue clown, which one of the following must be true? So those are 2 identical questions using just an entirely different set of words. And I mean, the reason why I thought this was a perfectly allowable question to ask is because they sometimes do that on the LSAT. I have seen examples where they literally are asking the exact same question 2 times in a row using just different words. So logic games is like the rest of the test. Logic games is a test of reading comprehension.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
I get Ben Olson's stamp of approval on my
Yeah.
lesson of the week.
100%.
Excellent. All righty. Again, you can sign up for our weekly email lesson. That's at thinkinglsat.com/demon.